Kia ora, and welcome to Aotearoa at the bottom of the South Pacific, Pacific Ring of Fire, on this new moon Guardians of Gaia gathering. And I'm excited about today. There has been so much unfolding in the in the 6 weeks since I landed back into Aotearoa, but also within the last 2 weeks since we last met, that's very interconnected with the evolution of our beloved Gaia Galactica, humanity, our planet, the whales, and our incoming souls that are landing through the newer star systems in their galactic architecture. So let us begin by just going through the alignment practice together. We're doing this to bring the most harmony and coherence into our individual and collective fields so that the information shared has a space to land within our systems and support integration of, so that we may share this information with those in our families, soul groups, communities, and countries who are ready to receive today, in the beginning of December 2024 on our Gregorian calendar. Time to step outside of time as we align physical, mental, and emotional bodies with all-pervading soul or higher self and monadic galactic selves. For those of you new to this journey, thinking a luminous thread from the root, the base, the womb space down through the floor, the soils, the sands, the bedrock, the waters, into the molten core in the heart of Gaia. Anchoring ourselves into the planetary body, into our bodies, and into our personal pillars. For those of us who are familiar with operating from your earth and soul stars, let us activate the earth stars 1 foot, half a meter beneath our feet. Connecting through the divergent meridians of the planetary body. The rios de luz, the rivers of light. The rios de agua, rivers of water. Rios de fuego, the rivers of fire. And the rios de oro, the rivers of gold that run through the planetary body. As we connect and inhale up those primordial elemental energies of creation and their infinite potential at this time of evolution, inviting them up to cleanse, clear, and purify our physical and energetic bodies, to recalibrate, to regenerate, to rejuvenate, to re-energize. Just inhaling, exhaling with our own sound, song, soul signature. As we surrender through the core of Source, in the heart of Gaia, where the new Earth architecture emerges. Through the core of Source in our own heart spaces. Through the core of Source in the heart of the Sun. And in the heart of the great central sun. Surrendering through the core of Source in the heart of the moon. And in the heart of Theia, our ancient moon. embedded in the African continent. Activating our solar and lunar discs for those that have these activated within their own systems. As we surrender through the core of Source in the galactic center, through the galactic center, into Homo Universalis, our ancient future selves. And inviting our ancient future selves to this meeting today, to this gathering, to this time of remembering. Thanking all of you who are feeling called to join this journey live today, and for all of those listening to the recording. Whatever we share here, we're sharing from our own personal experience. Please take all that resonates. Anything that you're unsure of, I invite you to place on your etheric bookshelf so that you may attract your own personal experience where you can make this your truth or not. And if there's anything that's too difficult to digest, please send it straight to the recycle bin and do not cause yourself indigestion or waste any extra time on it. I invite you to explore our journey today through the feeling body, to give the mind body a rest. Let our truth bumps, our goosebumps, our koyopa, according to Mayan terminology, become our own navigator. As we welcome into this space, GAIA Galactica, our Cetacean nation, who have been singing the songlines of our planet whilst humanity has been sleeping. And to the incoming souls, both the monad that has already arrived in the recent 2 years, the young girls, and to the boys that are preparing for their arrival now. And may I hand you over to Casey to continue harmonizing our field for our journey today.
We will stay in this beautiful field of connection that we've created in the circle by which we all stand and participate, opening up our heart fields even more and allowing in the stream of consciousness that wishes to come forward. As we are anchored into Gaia, our codes that we are receiving go directly to her, and we receive from her in the same direct manner. The vibration we carry within our fields is reflected back from her, filling up our cup with what we can receive at that time. Those origin codes which she carries, she gladly gives over to us when we are ready to receive them, to turn them on and to use them. And until that time, they stay asleep, opening up our field to the cosmic gateways, which are so ready to be anchored into the system also. Understanding that we are connected out to that universal field at all time, that those codes can be received like little lightning bolts into our system, activating everything and shining light on all the places and spaces that need light given to it, to be emptied out in order to hold more light, receive more codes, welcoming into the field the cosmic cetaceans that wish to be part of the circle today. They are guardians of the cosmic nurseries for our star babies to play, the ones that are not here yet. They hold those codes for them, anchoring them into the field that they might come in when they are ready to receive them. Like little comets playing in the sky, ready to drop in at any time. When we have raised our vibration in a field that's high enough to hold them, this is our soul promise to them, that we will be caretakers of the space, that they can be here and stay here, that we are anchors and bridges for them. This is the promise that we have stepped into as guardians, as wisdom keepers, as origin keepers. Holding that field of universal love, of oneness. This is why we have all been called into circle today, to receive these codes into our system, both from the whales, the cetaceans, and from the incoming souls that wish to come forward as their own consciousness field. We will anchor into our pillars a little bit more, being fully embodied to receive the codes, to share them, that wish to come forward at this time. Anchoring into the places where we stand connected to Gaia as pillars of light. When you are ready to participate in the circle, anchor into your body a little bit more, feeling the ground beneath your feet, grounding you into the space. Feeling your chair beneath you, adding a little gentle movement to your body. And when you are ready, opening your eyes, choosing to come fully in at this time.
Inhaling, and let us all exhale with sound as we anchor into our own point on the planet. Inhaling, exhaling with sound as we connect with one another around and through the planetary body. Welcome, everyone, to the most exciting time of evolution on our planet. And it's happening now. At an accelerated time of evolution, if we are not evolving, we are devolving. It is that simple. Change is afoot. And to support that, we're entering a 5-month astrological period of a lot of retrogrades. And when we have a lot of planets in retrogrades, they're all asking us to reset, to reconcile, to recalibrate, and course correct onto true north of our soul's journey. So it's an exciting time to make space, to actually decide what is important in life, what we wish to focus our consciousness on, and what do we wish to create at this exciting time of evolution. And it was really beautiful when a lot of the clearing commands, we use the term unweaving through the tapestry of time. Whereas we're in a position of creation now, we're actually weaving through the tapestry of time according to universal time and original time, our new Earth systems and structures that are available to us now, within and without. And we're definitely, I'm learning how to do this through my own system with the planetary body and with all of the species that are evolving right now, which is making life on Earth really fascinating, extraordinary, and definitely awakens curiosity in how we engage with one another and with all species that are here right now. And the species most present right now is very much our Cetacean nation. And it was in our last call when we explored our introduction to biomimicry and the symbiotic or twin relationship between the whale and the Cody tree in Aotearoa, a key indicator species, which there is Maori mythology about this relationship, and very significant in this turning over of time. And whilst I've always loved the ocean and whales, it was about 15 years ago, I was visiting a soul sister up in Waimate North in Aotearoa, on land where I used to ride my horse as a child. And we were called outside early one morning to reactivate the site of an ancient whale temple up there, of which the stones still exist in this dear sister's garden. And she actually sketched what the old temple used to look like. And during this time, a message just popped up on my phone saying yes, and it came from her, and she's not in this meeting. But during this time, we're showing how in the turnings over of time, in the last 5 turnings over time, the whales would come to land and go back to the ocean at each turning over of time. And I was showing that that there had been 5 of these turning over of time so far, and we were in the 6th turning over of time for the time the whales would come back to the land and remind us of who we are and our responsibilities here. And this will come into our journey later today. And I remember in that meeting afterwards, a Swiss sister, Fernanda, said to me, "Look at your eyes." And it's like, well, I can't really, I'm looking through them. And my eyes had literally gone golden brown, the color of whale's eyes. When I looked in the mirror, I wondered who I was looking at. And since then, I understand I've had 5 lifetimes or timelines as a whale weaving on this planetary body, as many of you may feel resonant to as well. And very recently, like within the last 2 months, I've met at least 3 other brothers, beautiful heart-centered brothers, both in person and online, who have also I've had whale timelines with. So this I think soul monadic group that Raylene will be able to explain better, this relationship we have with the whales as aspects of self is very present in our environment right now, and personally and dimensionally. And whilst Raylene's and my first meeting was at the arse end of the Sphinx in Egypt on New Soul's Day in November, many, many years ago, maybe 2010, 2009, 2010. 11, way back then. Our next meeting was actually weaving with the starry whale palaces of Lemuria on the gateways around Australia. And Raylene is just joining us, having recently returned from Egypt, from Wadi al-Hatan, the Valley of the Whales outside of Cairo. And I'd love to invite you, Raylene, to come in and share what you feel is important to share today.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Thank you, everyone. And thanks for inviting me, Lee. And where to start with these guys? They are just so deep and so profound. And a very dear friend of ours, Shahzad, in who literally bedroom is in front of the Sphinx. I was talking to her yesterday, and her question to me was, what do you feel about the ocean? And it's like, how do I answer that? Only that to say ocean is mother and whales are brethren. They are all our stellar brethren. You know, they are great holders. They are holding the whole memory field, the water memory field that we have fallen out of consciousness because of the cycle we're in relation to the sun. I mean, you can't not talk about the whales and the ocean without talking about the sun, because they're also intricately linked, and they're also so linked to our cycles of greater and lesser consciousness. So falling into forgetfulness and unforgetfulness. So, and remembering, putting back dismembered parts of self. So there is so much to share on this. I really don't know where to begin. And just as you're speaking, Lee, there's so much coming through about the nomadic sequencing, coming through the entry and exit gates of our planetary body. We are here, but not all of us have fully arrived. So it is through the 1 of 12, and then the 12 coming, the 144, and then the 144,000. It only takes one of the monads to awaken and arrive to actually bring through the entry gates the whole monadic soul grouping. So this is quite profound, and this has actually been happening now for the last 2 years, quite profoundly. So I will say that firstly. There are also dolphin dreaming and dolphin dreaming temples set up all around our planetary body. Some are at known sacred power sites, some are in under the ocean. And my work took me in under the ocean, and I had to learn to scuba dive to go and work with the oceanic grids and reawaken a particular body I have to do this work. It's part of a soul group. It's a species, actually, that reside within under the ocean floor, and they're called the Blue Pearl Cult. And one of my aspects is as part of this tribe, and they look very similar, but a lot more elongated heads as the avatar looking beings, very blue and almond eyes. The name I have in that realm is called Kitiyanka, and it means she who is of the oceanic stars. So it is through that body that certain things can unlock in relating to entry and exit gates on the planetary and personal fields of each and every one of us. There's a changing of the guards, not only within the elemental and molecular structure at the moment on our planet, but we're also shifting the ring past knot, which is normally set, is more fluid, which is, and everyone in our whole universe has to
We've just lost Raylene. So while we wait for her to come back, I'll just give you a little bit of background information with regard to the incoming souls. On a recent call with Isha called Ancient Future, you can find on the YouTube channel, there's greater details there of the journey that I experienced from conceiving in 2012. My conception was the unification of creation and destruction. And from the moment of conception, I was aware I'd conceived, and I was taken from Poland in the heart of Europe up through Scandinavia, through Shasta, Sedona, down into Hawaii, and then Aotearoa, and had meetings in the North Island at Mana, in the South Island near Christchurch, and then into Tikohanga, Castle Hill. Navel of the universe to the Dalai Lama, birthplace of the gods to the Urukeu, and I miscarried there. After that journey, I went to the Wales, where I met Raylene again. And that conception, we discovered, was connected with a monad of 12 souls who would be anchoring in the new star systems of the planetary body during this time of evolution. We didn't know when. That's all the information we had. And the first of that 12 came in and landed in June 2022. 5 more of her monad landed then. The next one arrived later in September 2024, just now, and the other 7 have arrived. Now, since that monad have arrived, it's been an extraordinary journey, their whole birth into the planetary body, and they've all had quite long labors, which has made us realize that we don't just need physical doulas for these incoming galactics, we actually need galactic midwives to support the process of them landing gracefully onto the Earth. And that 12 of that monad have landed now. And since they've landed, we're working with the next monad of 12, which are going to be coming in male bodies. And part of the activation of their connection and arrival has been with another sister who is to be a mother of one of these. She was also recently in Egypt, and I can't tell you which tomb, but it's a tomb outside the Valley of the Kings, right on the outskirts of it, where she had to go early one morning and received the king codes. They were like codes of divine masculine king codes that were coming in connected to this soul group. The queen codes we received around 2015, 16, maybe 17, from a lioness called Cleopatra in the Global White Lion Protection Trust Sanctuary in Tsimbavati, which is on the south point of the Nile Meridian. She gave them to us before we went up to Egypt later that way. So I'm just giving you a background of the interconnection with the evolution of the planetary system, with our bodies, with what we're able to now, thanks to the incoming galactics that have landed, and they're anchoring in the new star systems, where they're coming in directly from their systems rather than having to route through our sun on the way into. And on that note, I'll hand you back to Raylene, who's just rejoined us now.
Wow. Yes, I don't know what happened there. The internet disconnected, but going with the flow of that, it really is a connection back with Lyra, who is the mother codon of all our RNA and DNA coding to do with stellar clans. So there's a reconfiguration, and we have cleared out a lot of what we could call malware or tagging in our systems, and a lot of the trauma around certain planetary and exo warring, electric wars, Orion wars. And so the Lyran, speaking of the lions, the Lyran Codex is really anchored now into the Giza Plateau. And for me, the Giza Plateau, her name is Ruti. We call her Tefnut, but her name is Ruti. That's the more cuter name for her. And she represents moisture. And Ruti is anchoring in as the conductor of it all. And Uluru is the orchestra pit for the whales and the dolphins, taking this around the planetary body, the fields and form. And it is through them that we are able to assimilate and absorb the solar plasma and the photonic light packages that are coming through now that we are moving fully into the photon band. You know, as I said earlier, this is all cyclic. You know, this is cycles, lesser and greater cycles to do with consciousness. So not all stargates are about traveling, and, you know, not all vortexes and portals are about consciousness. It's about knowledge transference, and a lot of these gateways are connected to consciousness streams. And so the entire planetary body has shifted out of universal time matrix 1, and this is cyclic, and we are no longer even hovering in 4D. We are well and truly in the next universal time matrix, and that is for 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional. Some are also anchored well and truly in other time matrix, namely 7, 8, and 9. And this is where we get all the geometric patterning and weaving through the whales and dolphins through their song, because as we know, water is condensed light. And so it is through them and our water memory. We are the way of water, and through our memory, water memory codes, alchemizing and anchoring in with the water memory body of our planet, namely the oceans, they are able to transduce the solar plasma through all these. It's not longer solar flaring, it's solar streaming, where we're live. We're live at the Crystal Palace. All our higher gland centers have reanimated. And so it is through hydroplasma that we are able to assimilate and absorb. And this is what the whales and dolphins are expert at, transducing solar plasma into hydroplasma. So that's one thing. Talking about the children, for me, coming through the monad, it was all males for many years, and recently it's changed to females. So that's an interesting correlation with what you're getting. There's some pattern weaving here, or a braid weaving here with the codes. I'm about to go back to Uluru for the solstice, for the standstill of the sun, to deliver what was received at the Giza Plateau, but and Wadi Al Hitam, the Valley of the Whales, and an interesting place called Fayum, which I believe is going to be the new center for everything. Fayum is coming online at a rate of knots. Aswan is off the charts right now, off the charts, with the gateway openings. You know, everything's clicking back into place in Aswan. Fayum is, that known is going to be mega. And Fayum, F-A-I-Y-O-U-M, Fayum. Someone's asking the name or the spelling. It's about 3 hours from Giza. So, and a big water memory vortex, lots of lakes, the biggest waterfall there, underground river systems, connecting in with the ocean in our planet. We have an ocean that regulates all the different oceans on the surface. You know, it really is, we're going in now. You know, everyone's focused on what's out there, but it's what's happening in the intraterrestrial realms and the technologies and the beings that are really, really paving the way. All the indigenous tribes knew that you've got to go in to get out, and you've got to go on that solar barge, the starry barge, through the waters to get back to the stars. So this is our safety valve. The water is our safety valve of not frying out our wiring, trying to achieve this, and also to bring more of ourselves, who we are in all our starry essence, here to the earth, because that's what we've come for. Ultimately, we've come for that, to anchor all our divine essence here. So there's a lot going on with that. In particular, when I go to Uluru, it's not Uluru for me. It's about Attila, and everyone talks about Uluru and Katajuta, but Attila is where it's at for me. And this is a third monolith. They're the 3 solar desert tours in the center of Australia, and Attila has a direct link to Mintaka, which is the most incredible stellar nursery for those souls coming in through the birthing canal of our planetary body. So it really is where everything reaches full dilation. So that ties in with what you were talking about. It's one of the womb gates. It's a prominent one that connects in with Mintaka as stellar nursery. But the whole interesting thing with this is it connects in with Lemuria, but also, more importantly, Hyperborea. Hyperborea is really configuring now, and it's our galaxy, our Milky Way galaxy, which we can see is our fluidity. It helps us to remain in our fluidity, is interlocking and interfacing with Andromeda. So this was severed a long time ago, and it's reharmonizing now. And a lot of the wormhole technologies have dismantled to allow this to occur, and the great stellar dragon nodes are reconfiguring and anchoring in through Andromeda, not as Andromeda being the end of the stop, the end of the road for it, but it allows our bodies to remember really quickly, but also to integrate this braiding that I'm talking about with the male-female child. Okay, it's the come unto me as little children. So the children of the one heart race, one heart, one world, for me, are the elders remembering themselves. So these are the emerging elders that are coming in now. So the emerging elders are these children coming in, and they're star elders. So it is through the whales and the dolphin that they allow their membranes to remain intact, so that they can bring through. There's a liquid when you come in that really helps to stabilize the form within the elemental and molecular structure here on the planet. But it's in a transitory state. The time is transiting, the elemental and molecular structures transiting. The whole periodic table is in a complete upgrade. And as we were talking in the last discussion I was on, the Merkaba is in a complete transition as well. We are not functioning within 3D earth elements anymore. We're not functioning within 3D time anymore. We're not functioning within the things that we utilized as tried and tested methods. It's almost now, they served us for a purpose, and now it's like we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak, but we're building on this now. We're building on this light structure, and it's a liquid light structure. And so I'm going to stop talking now so someone else can talk. There's so much I can say on this, but if someone can talk again, then I feel there's something that somebody else needs to talk about now to weave the frequencies of what we're creating here. Thank you.
Thank you, Raylene. I think Casey's got the next piece for our weaving.
Oh yeah, I got disconnected for a minute, which was interesting.
Me too.
There's something that these codes are very
yeah.
important to come through at this time.
Exactly.
What you guys were talking about, Raylene, you mentioned something, but you and Leanne both are carrying like the archetypes for this monadic group. They're two different groups that you're talking about. They're coming in, they're coming to weave together. But your systems each carry the architecture for them to be able to come and land here. That's why you guys are doing the work that you're doing in order to have the bigger impact for the rest of the little ones to come forward. And they're coming from two different stellar nurseries, is what I'm saying. And Raylene, you were showing me as you were speaking that when we link up to the gateways, the birthing gateways, that there are codes that are streaming down from them. You were saying that it's not about traveling, that we can go there and collect data. And you were showing me the geometrical shapes that are attached to each one that you can just sync up your system with and receive the data at that time without needing to go travel to experience it in a different way.
Yes, and it's like we can call it it's a scanning or barcode system. It's a fail-safe system that, as I was mentioning earlier, and Aboriginal, Indigenous tribes know this. Like when we go and sit with the Aborigine people, you don't need to open your mouth with them. They've already barcode scanned you. They know everything about you. When you go into nature, you're barcode scanned. It's a fail-safe system. Yes, there has been malware corruptions within certain systems on certain levels, not all levels. So if one goes in to sit in circle as source code in union with source, or goes into nature knows exactly what to deliver at every moment with this. So it's nothing we actually need to do when we go into these places. It's just by showing up and arriving, holding the fullness of what it is to arrive. Many are here on the planet and know that they're star seeds, but not yet arrived through their gates. And this is what's happening now. The arrival is upon us.
We're calling it in. Those of us that are anchored in are now calling it in for the others to anchor in also.
Exactly. And it's a song, sung in the key of the heart and the melody of the soul. And everyone's voice is unique to them. Everyone's soul signature is unique to them. So this is the whole why I share about Ruti, or the Sphinx, being the conductor of the orchestra and Uluru being the symphony, the orchestra pit for the symphony, namely cetaceans.
Thank you, Raylene. And that reminds me of what happened recently about trusting in the unfolding. I'd been in the ocean a week ago on Sunday, because I feel the ocean is the amniotic fluid of our incarnate systems. The more time we can submerge ourselves in on under the ocean, the salty saline liquid of the ocean, the more we can receive information and calibrate information within our greater systems. So I had done my journey to the ocean on Sunday and come back. And then I had a message from another dear sister who I mentioned earlier is going to be a mother of one of the next boys. And normally I would not take a call on Sunday, but I got nudged, take this call. So we went into a call together. She was still assimilating and grounding and anchoring information through Egypt and from Egypt. And then halfway through this call, the phone started going off, messages started coming in. And as I'm a registered marine mammal mimic for Project Jonah in Aotearoa, New Zealand, we had a whale stranding 30 minutes away from where I was stationed. So in that moment, I said to Mila, this feels somehow interconnected with what we're sharing and weaving with right now. And it's really important that let's close this as part one. We'll resume in the coming days. I need to go now to the beach. So I prepared, moved to the beach. And as I landed gently, slowly, listening deeply to what was needed in that space. And as I landed, the whales had stranded near high tide. There'd been a huge response, and most had been refloated by the time I arrived there. So then I was even listening more deeply, saying, why is the reason for me being here? What was needed for here? And some information that she had just shared with me from Egypt had come into the field. The whales had brought into the land at that time, precise time here nearby. And I stood in the middle, away from the crowd, and the first vehicle to to pull up next to me was the local kaitiaki and the matakite, the Maori guardians responsible for this area. And we went together to do a karakia for the whales that had passed. And in that process that I was shown that 3 of these whales that had passed were part of the boy souls that are arriving in the new next wave of incomings, that they were the ones that had beached, and this was all part of a greater unfolding. And when people said they're worried about whale restranding it all, and I said, don't be concerned, they're not coming back. And the Keely, the local matakiti, and myself, she was doing a prayer, a karakia out into the ocean, and I was making sure we cleared the imprint of the stranding on the land. Remember, if there's trauma in our systems and trauma in the land systems, we have to bring distortion into coherence so that we don't recycle and loop in it. And if it's locked between the two, it needs to be at least release one so it can be released from the other and unwound and unbound through the tapestry of time. So while we were clearing the imprint of that stranding and she was doing her karakia, we could reassure the community that had gathered in support of the situation that no, they were not coming back. The reason for this was complete. And it was a really interesting space to be in during this time. And then of course we went back the next day and continued to unpack the Egyptian journey in preparation for these incoming souls. And there's more, but I feel a pause there. There's
the whales land, we're anchoring in the codes for the boys to be able to anchor into the earth for their journey.
yeah. Thank you. And it's been quite a journey with these incoming souls, you know, over now what are we, 12-year period, but particularly in the last 2 years as the girls are arriving. And if you go back to our recording, I think it's with the Gong Gong Dragons, when Casey and I were both in Indonesia together simultaneously, we were shown in North Bali land that wishes to be a sanctuary for this next wave of incoming souls, because they require a community, not just a couple or a small family unit. They require a community to land into, and they require a community that can maintain the higher frequencies of which they are capable of arriving into and maintaining throughout their earth walks. And we were shown that there would be 12 of these sanctuaries on earth. And that was all we knew. And I didn't project onto it or go looking to see where the rest might be. Yet I just was getting the call in this last week. I need to look at land up in the Bay of Islands, which coincidentally, there's 144 islands in the Bay of Islands where I grew up. So this land, I knew it was on the north side of the Kerikeri Inlet and north facing, and I had to go and look for this land. And I went up and walked this land yesterday. And it was an absolutely extraordinary experience to walk this land. And from the time I arrived on there, I was walking in Koyopa in ecstasy throughout the whole system, as I was shown that this is the second sanctuary that's identified itself, that it wishes to be a sanctuary for the next wave of incoming galactics that are arriving. And it felt really important to share that here, and also to send a call out to invest in this sanctuary of land. Their asking price is 5 million New Zealand or 3 million US dollars. And it feels important to send a call out to the community, to the donors of this project, that know that they're here to invest in these projects, to let them know that this is a site that has been identified, that has responded in the call and response journey, and is awaiting its next kaitiaki, awaiting its next guardians. And it's really, truly a beautiful land up there. So yeah, I feel to offer that out into the circle and see what wishes to become of that.
Beautiful. As you were speaking, Lee, I was just to weave a little something into that about being able to move through these birthing gates. There's been a lot cleared out, and because a lot are stabilizing their frequency beyond lower astral or 4D, in where a lot of the malware was set up around synthetic light, which ultimately cannot fully interfere with water or hydroplasmic light. However, it has created some interference with the amniotic fluid, and in particular, amniotic fluid transforms or alchemizes into CSF, which is our cerebral spinal fluid. And we know this is what lights the lamp in the body. This is what allows us to not just remember, put back the dismembered parts of self, but also allows us not to abort mission by misconceiving of ourself. When we get locked into these netting systems within the lower astral, we have been hooked into looping mechanisms and what we can call being on a holding pattern. And so now that has all dismantled. And so this is why we're able to come in through the birthing gates and the stellar womb gates unhindered, without aborting mission and without interference from those realms. A lot of are consciously holding this now. So it immediately creates a symbiosis with that water code of embiotic fluid and what we're at a soul level designed to do. So the whole again, this is talking about the upgrades in the molecular and elemental structure have really, really shifted. And it's the elemental realms, the she, who have been really anchoring this in for us, because they've successfully undergone such metamorphosis, because they've had to come here to Earth from the stars. The she not only means the fairy folk in Irish, it also means those that come from the stars. So those that are in those realms, they've already successfully undergone such metamorphosis for this cycle and released the grip of the faux elemental piggybacking of the organic, and are supporting metaphysically our evolutionary adaptations being experienced by humankinds within this cycle. So in the upper 4D mythical realms, this is being bathed and purified through the lower astral realms of 4D. And all that recycling and repetition of dark meta templates are no longer, unless we choose to go there in the mind. However, and again, this talks about the whole, everything's changed within elemental and molecular structure, because the AI elemental holograms and mimicry of organic templating due to
I think
back. It's interesting. This never happens, by the way, so it's interesting. So a lot of it too is to let go of the notions of who we are in relation to stellar clans. And that is the notion that they are to be worshipped and adored rather than accepted as, or superior to us, at face value. And this is the key to respectfully opening dimensional doorways for one and all, that we claim, we honor ourselves and who we are in the mix with our stellar clans, with our whale and dolphin brethren, who are amazing stellar beings. And I really love that you mentioned about the beaching, because this is a really important point, because there are certain places that they come and they know that they're safe to come, and they know because of the beautiful beings that are keeping their gateways enlivened through ceremonies and honoring them, as we know. We know there are places that they can easily, not only are there entry gates, there's exit gates. And if you know your entry and your exit gate, then you're home free on this planet. This is the Emancipation Code. Know your entry and exit gates. And this is what's happening now. And this is why we're talking about the children and the monadic codex that's coming through the living libraries and the Earth Core oracles, that we carry inside us. And it's just incredible what's happening.
Thank you, Raylene. It is incredible and very exciting. And I feel there was a little bit about the New Earth architecture that I mentioned. Seeds of New Earth gathering was in Poland. Birth Canal of the New Earth we weave through in Peru, Valley Sagrado. And then when I was quarantining in 2021 in Java, I was showing that it would start to manifest here throughout the Indonesian archipelago. And then just before leaving Bali, I'm saying, well, where is it going from here? Is it going into PNG? Is it going into Australia? Where is it going? And it's going through Aotearoa next. And that was really interesting to land in here with the emergence of the New Earth architecture, and to be weaving that with the whales during the stranding time. And even days after, I was taken out to Rio Tahi, which is right at the cervix of the Whangarei Harbour town basin. And the orca came in that day and were weaving with me through the passage on that day that I was out there at Riotahi, which was connected again in with the Bay of Islands and the 144 islands out in the Bay of Islands, where I'm gravitating toward for my Earth base, particularly for the next few years during this time of transition. So yeah, what a journey we are on.
Oh, amazing. These all tie in with the Lemurian Pillars of Light and the Lemurian Islands of Light. And yeah, the one in Bali is up in Manjangan, which, you know, that area.
Yeah, that was where actually Casey and I had to go to with working with the Gong Gong dragons up there in Majangan, and also do underwater work up there.
Exactly. And that's, well, a lot of the tsunamis are also helping, for want of a better word, but they are helping with all this as well. When the last major tsunami hit with Japan, I was in under Manjangan, 100 feet down, scuba diving, working with the oceanic grids. And a lot of that was that it was a wave. It was a wave that took it across through the South Pacific and North and South America. So that those waters or those memory codes went across. And in the tsunami that hit in the early 2000s with Thailand, I was actually went down, and it's a similar thing that's happening now, being borderline pneumonia for the last week and a bit. And every time these sorts of things happen, I bring through whole new systems to do with oceanic consciousness, the water in my lungs. And yeah, it's what I call gillyweed. It's, you know, like Harry Potter when he's, I think it's called the Goblet of Fire or something, where they have there's games, and one of he has to go underwater to retrieve something, and he grows gills through this plant called gillyweed. But the whole thing with this is the whole planet, through tsunamis, we're able to quickly recalibrate catastrophobia. And this is where Lemuria and Hyperborea are really helping at the moment, because we've reached a point with the Atlantean story of the last great fall. And now the gateways are opening. The Lemurian Hyperborean component of this catastrophobia story is actually unlocking deeper levels of who we are and what we hold with our water memory and our coding around water. And this is going to put us in really good stead, particularly in the coming years. There's so much to speak about this.
No, I thought on that note of water cetaceans, maybe let us hand over to Talia.
Yes.
We're very blessed to have joined us on this journey today as a songstress of Gaia, with a deep affiliation with the waters and our whales. And we would love you to come in and share your song with us. With us, with everyone who is in this circle, everyone who will be joining this circle, and with Gaia at this time.
Thank you, Leanne. Thank you for inviting me. I'm coming to you from Lake Hawea, which is near Wanaka in the South Island of New Zealand. So I'm just going to sing a little bit. Just going to invite you all to take a breath with me.
Wow, what a gift. Thank you so much, Talia. And also, maybe you would like to give us a share. Very soon, you're offering a retreat workshop space in a weekend not far from Whangarei. And it's really interesting to look where this retreat space is on the map in relation to where I am here in the south side of Whangarei. Ruakaka, where the whale stranded, is almost a triangulation of where you will be on retreat inland from Whangarei. So maybe you'd like to give us a little intro on what you're offering coming up soon with the Very Dear Sister.
Oh, thank you. It's beautiful to hear that as well. Yeah, it's called Voices of the Well, and it's myself and another woman who's up north, actually in Northland. Her name's Polly Greeks. She's a writer, and I'm going to be bringing the voice part, embodiment, connecting with the land. And yeah, it's in a beautiful space. It's kind of off grid. It's in this beautiful, beautiful forest, and we'll be using the water as well, and the whale song, and just inviting everyone to connect with the land and to bring their song through the land, through connection with spirit and earth, spirit and matter, and just inviting that clear channel to come through with our voices, to expand and to bring the whale song as well. And we'll be connecting to that through writing as well. So it's called Voices of the Whale.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being with us here today, because I know you will have to leave soon also. And thank you, Rayleigh, just feeling to hand over to you, because you too have to leave us soon for another meetings.
With the children coming in, that there is clear passage. Some children that come in have not had clear passage to come in, or they've been taken out of their bodies suddenly. And one example was during that Thailand tsunami, when I had the pneumonia. I was in bed for a month, but my hands and feet were on fire, and basically I could see all these babies. They were babies floating on the surface of the water, and I had to direct them to an etheric hospital for their emotional bodies to be stabilized, to return back to the stars. And there's a lot going on with this. These places are set up in certain zones around our planet in the etheric for the children who come through and don't quite make it. But so there's a changing of that. That's been a system set in place for millennia. But now with the monadic grouping, it's strengthening the braid for the DNA and the RNA, which is our inner song lines, to really anchor in now and be able to, as I say, fully arrive. So that was another thing where tsunamis are helping to upgrade us quickly through clearing out any catastrophobia or anything trapped within the emotional body. So this is all going on simultaneously with the monadic presence entering the field of our planet.
Yeah, that's interesting. As you were sharing that, Rainy, I'm seeing how is it strengthening the DNA and RNA for all of us, less susceptible for interference and distortion.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
basically, it's holding the true strength of it, which others are managing to recalibrate to at a much more rapid pace than was earlier available to us.
Yes.
So this journey of embodiment and evolution no longer needs to take years and years and lifetimes. It's the time it takes to align and reconnect and recalibrate. So again, really emphasizing the importance of our foundations of embodiment and evolution, which create us a strength in the inner system that we can bring pieces of ourselves back to as we remember ourselves. So then that continues to strengthen rather than get lost. And we'll put a link also for that foundation of embodiment process that is very supportive to people. So let us just open the field. Is there any other questions or contributions for our journey today before we bring our journey to closure? Because that has been a lot of information, keys, codes, activations. There's a lot here to digest.
I would like to add to that the brain and of whales and dolphins, they never switch off into a subconscious state of sleep. So we are, one side of the brain remains awake while the other rests or lies dormant, and then so they're always remaining in the conscious dreaming and the dream time, and they're always awakening to dream within the dream weaving or the dreamscape. So they have no need to remember or put back the dismembered parts of self like we're temporarily doing right now. Whales know, they're primarily hardwired to the primordial star mirrors and star maps and the originator gates, which is where we come through organically. And, this is why they're able to traverse the oceanic star songlines so eloquently, so with their songs.
And a beautiful toy and tool to help us bring that brain unification I found was actually a mermaid tail. It was one of my best investments years ago as a toy and a tool, because when we put on the old mermaid tail and start moving our body as the whales and dolphins do, of course it unifies the hemispheres of the brain.
Yes.
And takes us into that God zone, and it's there for us and easily accessible. So most important, remember to play.
Yeah. That's the whole thing with whales and dolphins. They're all about the play. Heartfelt joy.
Yeah.
That's it. So simple, really. I love it.
Yeah, I'd say the deeper our embodiment and evolution journey continues, the more simple life on Earth becomes, because there is so much in each present moment, and there's so much beauty, joy, pleasure in each moment, that the more simple our life is and more present it is and more integrated with nature it is, the more wonderful.
And their song, encourages us to sing, and it's through our songs that we are able to connect our stories in with theirs and converge, our stories converging with them as one great chronicle, and all of the stories converge in the one great chronicle, merge in the mind of a whale. So when we connect in with whales, we connect in with the memory banks of our planet. The original silicate matrix, the crystalline memory banks of the earth core oracles of our planet. And that's how we gain access to the living libraries of our Earth star, is to sing and sing with these beautiful beings.
Yeah. So remember that song, sound, soul signature each of us carry is unique, and it is part of the grand symphony of life. So may we all remember to sing our song.
Sung in the key of the heart and the melody of the soul.
Of course.
Because people say, oh, I can't sing, or oh, I don't know what to sing that in. And I just say, just sing in the key of the heart and the melody of the soul.
Yeah. So there we go. Thank you all for joining our journey today. Wow, what a weaving. And what awaits us, what is unfolding now and what awaits us is purely profound. And it's a great blessing to be part of this journey and to be here to share it with you all.
Thank you, Lee.
Yeah.
I may be over in the summer.
Wonderful. There's a lot happening this summer, so it seems.
It's calling.
Yeah.
Been a while.
So yeah. So on that note, may we all return fully intact onto the earth plane as I hand you over to Casey for our closing journey and gratuities to all of our support in the seen and unseen realms.
Thank you, everyone, for choosing to step into Circle today, for allowing your codes to be shared, for the soul symphony to be completed one amongst another, with our hearts connected as one and connected to that unified field. and allowing the codes that we receive to disperse, to integrate, to meld into the field, that we may pick them up and use them as our journey calls for it. We will anchor in more fully into our individual pillars at this time, that we might fully land into our physical systems, allowing us to fully walk our earth journeys at this time, knowing that we can come back to this field at any moment to pick up more codes, that these codes are ready for everyone. When you are ready, we will connect more fully into our physical bodies by bringing more breath, more life, more light, anchoring all the way down through our toes, connecting to Gaia, feeling her beneath our feet, feeling the solidity of our body, our root, our base, allowing us to be here with our original codes that we carry in our systems. Anchoring in through all of our energy bodies, choosing to activate each one, using them as one unit, the unit of expansion. Knowing that we merge both worlds, the celestial and the terrestrial, together within our bodies. Adding gentle movement to your body, breathing deeper, and when you are ready, opening your eyes and coming fully all the way back in.
Thank you, Casey. And as we land back into manifest physical reality, let us send out that call again from the next wave of incoming galactics to the investors and the kaitiakis, the guardians of these sanctuaries on our planet. And for those that are here to support the one in Aotearoa, please get in touch soon, as I would love to introduce you to this land. And also for Guardians of Gaia itself, to know that Guardians of Gaia is an interdependent entity that we're all a part of. And Guardians of Gaia is also wishing to evolve into its own unique entity as a registered charity on the planet. So that is also for those of you who are feeling to be part of that next wave of evolution of Guardians in Gaia, how that's going to be structured, registered, and unfolding. We would love to hear from you too. Otherwise, thank you, thank you, thank you. Raylene, Casey, Talia, and all of you for joining us for today. And I will be happy to share this recording with contact information for your hosts so that you may get in touch directly if you are called. Love and blessings from Aotearoa on this new moon at the beginning of December, where we will have two new moons and a blue moon at the end. And we'll see you all in a couple of weeks' time. And whatever our sandscape looks like by then. Much love and gratitude until we meet again.